What is up, Frag fam? Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. So sometimes when we try a fragrance or we get something new in, we don't just like it, but we're actually addicted to it. We're head over heels for it. So today I want to talk to you about 6 fragrances that are currently like that for me. These are ones that I'm pretty addicted to right now. I'm not just reaching for them, but I'm also just like finding myself picking up the bottles and smelling them just to kind of get that aroma. So if you guys want to find out what these 6 fragrances are and why I'm so addicted to these right now, then please stick around. But first, let's roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back from the intro, and like I already said, we're going to be talking about 6 amazing fragrances that are currently captivating me. I'm not saying these are my favorite fragrances necessarily, but these are the ones that right now are really intriguing me a lot. And like I said earlier, these are the ones that I just randomly find myself picking up the bottle, smelling it, just so I can get that aroma again. So without holding off any longer, let's jump into the first fragrance. Okay, so like most of my lists here, this is not going to be a rank list, so there's no order to these fragrances. I'm just going to present them to you in a random order. Nonetheless, the first fragrance we are going to be talking about, this is coming from the house of Javoy, and this one is called Psychedelic. This is seriously one of the best patchouli fragrances I've ever smelled. If you guys are into kind of like chocolatey fragrances or gourmands, you guys might like this one. Even though I'm not a huge gourmand lover, I really do enjoy this one a lot. And this isn't necessarily a full-on gourmand, but it certainly, in my opinion, leans in this direction. So the main note, of course, is patchouli. Like I already said, you do get some amber in here with labdanum. There are some florals like geranium as well, which isn't like super heavy in this case. It is a little bit detectable, especially in the dry down. I kind of get this very faint icy effect or cooling effect from it. And there's a little bit of citruses in here as well. Nonetheless, this is all about the patchouli, the amber, the vanilla, and those resins with a little bit of that geranium. And this one is, like I said, extremely chocolatey off the top. It's almost like a chocolate cake. As it settles down, the patchouli turns a little bit greener, and the sweetness and like the richness of this kind of settles down, but it is still decently sweet and kind of gourmandish in that dry down. Very addictive smelling, that's why it's here on this list. This is one that I have reached for recently, even though we are in summer, and this is definitely more of a cold weather oriented fragrance. I've worn this thing because I really do like it a lot. One of those fragrances, again, that's just captivating me at the moment. So if you guys have not checked this one out, definitely worth sampling. Again, from the house of Javoy, this is Psychedelic. Okay, so moving on to the next fragrance we're going to be talking about. This is a newer pickup for me. I think I got this within the last couple of weeks. This might be my new favorite from the house. I have not totally made up my mind there yet, but this is certainly one of the best from the house in my opinion. Absolutely captivating me here at the moment. So this is coming from the house of AMRA. This is Overture Man. Oh my gosh, this is so good. It sucks that this thing is really hard to find. I spent months and months looking for this fragrance for a decent price. Of course, you can always go retail, but I didn't really want to pay the extra costs. Plus, you have to get this from Harrods, as this is a Harrods exclusive. So with the overseas shipping costs here in the US, I just wasn't about it. I was waiting for the right moment. I think now you can buy this from AMRA as well, which makes it a little bit more affordable, but you're still paying the full retail price. If you're looking for this discounted, unfortunately, you cannot find it. Maybe you'll get it from a reseller, which I was lucky enough to do. And as far as this fragrance goes, even though, again, you can only basically get it at retail prices or close to retail prices, I think this is absolutely worth it. So unique, so complex. It's absolutely one of the most interesting and complex fragrances from AMRA, which is saying a lot, as many AMRA fragrances are known for the complexity and depth. This one, you get a nice kind of dry cognac note, so it's not quite as fruity and sweet as cognac comes across sometimes. Again, it is a little bit more bitter and boozy. There's also a bunch of oriental spices in here, like cumin, and then I think saffron, and maybe even a little bit of nutmeg. You get some sandalwood in here, some smoke notes, there's animal notes in here, some resins, you even get some incense and leather in here. So there's a lot going on in this fragrance. Like I said, really complex, a little bit challenging, but that's why I enjoy it a lot. I think this is the style of fragrance where if you wear it very confidently, you can totally pull this thing off. And it's going to definitely boost your aura because of that. Again, something that I am absolutely addicted to right now. One of the best from the house in my opinion, and possibly my current favorite. So again, from the house of AMRA, definitely one you guys should sample if you can. This is Overture Man. Okay, so moving on to the next fragrance. This might be my new favorite fragrance from this house as well. So similar to Overture Man from AMRA, this one is actually coming from Kilian. It's my newest Kilian pickup. And like I said, I haven't 100% made up my mind yet, but this could possibly be my new favorite. This, like I said, is coming from the house of Kilian. It is called Apple Brandy. And this is a city exclusive, which the city exclusives for Kilian are in a higher price bracket or like echelon. These go for $320 US instead of 240. So they're significantly more expensive. In the case of this one, I think it is totally worth the price difference though. It's extremely natural smelling, very unique, very pleasant. I would call this a gourmand, but it's kind of teetering on that gourmand edge because there are some like woody aspects to this. It's very appley, hence the name apple brandy. There is a very prominent kind of sweet creaminess, very spicy as well, and there's a prominent booziness in here as well. So if you basically want to imagine it, it's like a boozy, creamy apple pie aged in like some kind of oak barrel. So you're getting a very prominent kind of woody smell enveloping all those gourmand notes. So this thing smells absolutely fantastic. I'm really glad again to have this one in my collection finally. If you guys are looking for a couple of fragrances from Kilian to try, definitely check out this one. I think this is one of their best releases to date. So really captivating me right now, very addictive smelling. Again, this is Kilian's Apple Brandy. Okay, so moving on to the fourth fragrance here in this video, we are finally going to be talking about a designer fragrance. So yes, this is not just going to be a niche fragrance video. We have a designer here, and this one is extremely standout, unique, even as far as the house goes, which recently has been putting out a little bit more quirky style fragrances. This one is definitely a standout from the house, probably their best fragrance release just based on from the stuff that I have tried. This is pretty unique as well, although there is one other fragrance on the niche side that does have some resemblance to this, which I will talk about when I finally reveal this. Nonetheless, I'm really glad to finally have this one in my collection. For the money that you can get this for, this is an absolute no-brainer to pick up. So this is coming from the house of Gucci. This is Gucci Guilty Absolute. Some of you guys probably knew like which fragrance was coming after I started describing it more and more. This is absolutely worth it. You can get this for like $50, maybe $55 for the 90 ml size, the 3 ounce. Such a good bang for your buck. This is a leather woody fragrance. So the most dominant note here, of course, is leather. You also get some cypress in here and even some vetiver. In the case of here, I think the vetiver is definitely more on like that woody side. It's not really damp and earthy or grassy. It works with the woody notes in here perfectly. And then the leather, very standout and slightly rustic smelling. This is an extremely traditionally masculine smelling fragrance, and it's just such an awesome scent profile. Like, this is really captivating me right now. This has some similarities to Kilian's Dark Lord, which I have been able to try, and they are honestly quite similar, although I think Dark Lord focuses more on the leather and this one focuses more on the woody notes. But again, they are very similar. I really want to pick up Dark Lord eventually as well. Such great fragrances. I know some people find them quite challenging, and I can totally understand that. This is not a mass appealing style of DNA, but if you like this style of stuff, it is absolutely going to be one of your favorite fragrances. Really amazing smelling. I am enjoying this thing a ton. I do think that this one will probably get discontinued eventually because it does not sell that well, and then fetching a ton of money for a bottle. So I would say definitely get this right now while you can, because again, you can get this for like $50. It's a no-brainer for the quality and the uniqueness of the scent. So a designer fragrance that is currently really captivating me, I'm finding extremely addictive, from the house of Gucci. Again, this is Guilty Absolute. Okay, so the 4 fragrances we have talked about so far have all been heavier, darker fragrances, stuff good for the cold weather. Well, the next one we're going to be talking about right here, this is actually a freshie that is currently captivating me. This thing smells absolutely amazing. So this is coming from the house of Royal Crown. It is called Celebration. Wow, and I think this might be my new favorite from the house, or I shouldn't say new favorite, but my favorite from the house. I have only tried about 4 or 5 fragrances from Royal Crown. This one, I think this is definitely my favorite. This thing is an amazing grapefruit and mint bomb. So it's very citrusy and zesty. It has just the right amount of sweetness where it's not too cloying, but it makes it a little bit intriguing and interesting. The mint in here is very realistic. It is icy, it's fresh. It's not like toothpastey or like chewing gum smelling. It's not like that. It's very realistic. This basically smells like a grapefruit that has been rubbed with a mint leaf. Very, very natural smelling. If you guys have ever had lemon heads, this smells like a lemon head, but extremely natural and high quality smelling. So I can't really say much more about it than that. There's not a ton of notes in here, but the ones that it is featuring, they smell very nice. The blend here is absolutely amazing, and it's pretty long lasting as well, especially for the style of scent that it is. So this is a no-brainer for this list. This thing is really intriguing me, very addictive smelling, and it had to be here. So again, from the house of Royal Crown, this is Celebration. Okay, so we are finally on to the last fragrance, so we're not gonna hesitate here. We're gonna dive straight into it. This is coming from the house of BDK Parfums. This is Gris Charnel, and this is my favorite From the house of BDK Parfums, I can confidently say that I think I've tried about 8 of them at this point, and I currently own 6. This thing is really a standout fragrance for me. There is a small familiarity to it, but I think it's really its own thing for the most part. I haven't smelled anything else that smells exactly like this. Extremely pleasant as well. I think it is really hard to make something that is unique, but very appealing at the same time. This has a very small class to it, a little bit of like the sophisticated vibe, maybe a small touch of this vintage feel, but I think it really is mostly a modern fragrance. As far as what you get in it, you get black tea, there's fig in here, cardamom, iris, sandalwood, and then tonka bean with a little bit of vetiver. So it's fruity, it is kind of relaxing because of the tea, and I think even the fig brings kind of this mellow vibe to it as well. You do get some fresh spiciness as well. The iris in here is a little bit waxy, but also a little bit fresh powdery. The sandalwood brings a nice kind of woody backbone with a very like slight dryness, and then the tonka bean just brings in this nice creamy sweetness, kind of rounds it out. So this thing is balanced perfectly. I don't think it's doing anything too much. And again, it's just all working together perfectly. Really awesome fragrance. If you guys are looking for some fragrances to try from BDK Parfums to kind of get your feet wet in the house and try some stuff, this is one of the ones I definitely recommend. Extremely addictive. This is a bottle that I just find myself randomly picking up and smelling because it is that good. So again, my absolute favorite currently from the house of BDK Parfums. This thing is really slept on in my opinion. This is Gris Charnel. Well, there you guys go. That was 6 fragrances that are currently captivating me, and I find these really addictive. Again, these are the ones that I just find myself repeatedly smelling because they're that good to me. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, maybe just let me know your thoughts, as well as some new video ideas or topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you've not already, if you could hit the subscribe button and then the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.